Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. Oh, boy, sorry, cleared my throat there. Um, Welcome to another edition of Pulse Chain or Pulse Chain X with Bud and George. We thought we would just throw this together. We were going to do a video that was just going to be us, and we thought, well, why not just include everybody else? You can get some questions answered. People may still be home for the holidays, or you may be locked down because you can't go anywhere. Who knows? But we thought we'd just do a live version of this and really, let everybody participate in this with us. So, good morning, Bud. How are you on that side of the pond?
Well, terrific. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everyone coming and joining us on this very last-minute live stream. It's an exciting. Here we are in 2022 now, so certainly, exciting to be like still in the crypto and just we're talking on a day that Bitcoin's starting to creep back up. So hopefully, all of our wishes and dreams can come true with this this next run. I do remember previous Januaries, and typically, you have like some good activity for the alts and the Bitcoin around this time. Certainly 2 years ago, I remember it was shooting up a little bit, and yeah, let's hope it does the same and makes it to that ultimate target.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the $100,000 Christmas parties that Cliff High kind of promised us, back in 2017. Haven't quite seen that yet, but I think eventually we should see that. But who knows? It's been a long time.
Can I tell you a little story about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I remember those $100,000 Bitcoin parties, 2017. And of course, like everyone else, I was talking about them and really expecting that to happen. And my nephew, who's really savvy, was just learning about crypto, and he got me to sign a contract. He actually wrote it down, and I was making all these promises. If Bitcoin reaches $100,000, I will do this. So I was flying everyone to Dubai. He wanted first class. He wanted the Atlantis. So in a mixed sort of way, that contract still stands, and I'm hoping it reaches 99,000. No, that would be cruel, but anyway, I thought that was quite interesting that my nephew would do that.
The one thing that I have learned, because I signed a contract like 22 years ago, that I should have put an expiration on it, and it still holds me to this day. But that is one of the things that I've learned, that I'm going to put an expiration on contracts like that, because, who knows?
Yeah. So we're here to talk about Pulse Chain with everyone. I see that you put it out to the entire group, and this was a module that we did many months ago now, back in I want to say June, July, I think was the focus of it. Clearly, I'm personally still a little bit disappointed that we haven't got Pulse Chain. When we were promised Pulse Chain, it was initially potentially going to be August 2021. Then it kind of crept into September. Then we thought we were going to get it in October, and we did get the testnet, which worked great. But then we got another testnet version 1, and then version 2 came out, and then we're still waiting for Pulse Chain. So it's the nature of these things. We know projects are delayed. It's just a tiny bit frustrating and disappointing that we're still waiting on it. But all of us know that we did sacrifice, and it was very clear at the time. Don't expect to benefit from work from others, even though we are all expecting to get our Pulse Chain.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see. But here we are today, talking about the latest development in this saga with PulseX.
Yeah, and real quick, someone was saying, I just pulled up the questions. Can you guys hear us? There were a couple people in the beginning that said they could not, and that was about 8 minutes in, or a little bit in. Can you guys hear us out there? Just type that in the message. Yes, okay, they can hear us. So take it away, bud. Sorry, I just
Yeah,
want to make sure we were being recorded.
and I absolutely would really appreciate to engage with the people that are coming along here, because you know, we're all in this together. I'm assuming that the people joining are interested in this Pulse chain. I think from the outset we have to remind people that we are not in any way, in any shape or form, affiliated with this project at all. It's just that we got involved and we had the tip off from Jay back in I think it was like sort of May time, that this was going to be a good one to get involved with, and he had like some contacts that were saying that Pulse Chain will be a winner, and it was really difficult to understand back then. Do you remember, like just all that information that was bombarding us, and we
Oh my
had to
gosh, yes.
yeah. So
You
hours and
had to
hours
listen to.
and days, and it turned into weeks and weeks of research, and it does get you involved in the project. But
Yeah.
yeah, these are the
Well,
go on.
and it was so simple in the end. I mean, Richard just throws things out and, has these long, you must have listened to 20 hours of Richard during that time.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, weeks, I would say, and to the point where I was actually getting quite arrogant with my wife. You know, I was turning into a little bit like Richard. You know, I almost went out and bought myself a Gucci shirt. You know,
I was gonna say, did you spend 6 grand on a shirt?
but no, like I went through a Richard Hart detox, and that felt good. Now look, we're all he's obviously made a lot of people a lot of money. One of the things I was going to talk about, I've got some questions here, not questions, but things that I wanted us to cover, because I want this to be helpful to. That was always when I said to Jay from the outset, yes, yeah, I'm happy to report back to you and the binge team on what this thing is with the world's biggest airdrop. Um, I always wanted to just try and help people and try and understand it myself. And so these are the things that are kind of been that have come up, which is, what is PulseX? What is this sacrifices? Second sacrifice? Do we have to do anything? So these are the things I've just quickly written down, and we're going to actually go through. But do you have any things that you want to go through, George?
No, I take it away. We'll probably ask, we'll have, if anybody wants to come on after Bud's kind of run through his stuff, it'd be great if someone wants to come on the mic, and we're just going to go over some of this, and we'll do it in a Richard Hart fashion, where we just kind of talk about a lot of different things, and then you can look at a couple slides and know everything.
Yeah, we're just trying to help, and we're just trying to actually help people make money as well. I mean,
Yeah.
so this was marketed and still has the potential to be the world's biggest airdrop. It's probably the world's most delayed airdrop, but then I suspect that that's actually quite a few projects, you know, where you get high expectations. You think it's going to be easy. It sounded quite easy from the outset. They're just going to take a snapshot of Ethereum at a particular time, fork it, and turn this into Pulse Chain, and take the Ethereum tokens and times that by 10,000 to try and dilute the whales, and they're going to then. What we do know is that this team, Pulse Chain, and with Richard Hart as the leader, they were going to replicate almost all of the altcoins, which was the thing that got us really excited. And so the last time you and I were talking, and actually for people that haven't listened to that is a video that is on the educational channel, right, with Pulse Chain, where you and I are going through the test net and sending each other back and forth
Yep.
the PRC20s, they're called, not ERC20s, but the PRC20s, and actually it's a really good platform. It's a really good network. Like you and I we had all our expected coins on Metamask, our tokens, and we're just, it was great to just send randomly between us. and whoever was on that live stream, the PRC20s. I think you sent me some SHIB, and so
Yeah.
that was where we were at last time. Now we have this thing called PulseX. So in a nutshell, to save people time, getting straight to the point, PulseX is Uniswap. You know, it's a decentralized exchange that is going to live on Pulse chain, and it is a way that we will potentially be able to take our PRC20s that we get duplicated, cloned, and we'll be able to swap those back to maybe we swap it to PLS, maybe we swap it to something else, and then we can potentially bridge that over to Ethereum and get the value out of those tokens and coins, to then bring that back and bring that back into the Ethereum world, or even to to take that profit. So PulseX is Uniswap. What my strategy is, like, I'm looking at this, I don't know about, I haven't actually spoken to you, George, about what you're doing, but for me, I'm kind of like thinking, well, look, we've been a little bit disappointed with where we're at with the delays of the launch of Pulse Chain. So why on earth would we go through a second sacrifice, and rely on the fact that that is actually something we want to do? So I'm in two minds whether to actually do this. If I do it, then it is going to be just with pizza money, that Jay talks about, like, like something of the value of what you would, an Italian dinner. I think he sometimes talks about, I mean, I guess pizza Italian. And so at the most, I would probably do something that's a bit more like along the lines of what I would pay to have a pizza with my family.
Yeah, and one thing that I've been thinking about, and if you go to the URL that Bud has up there, PulseX .info, anytime I've thought about sending something on the Ethereum network, well, let me back up a little bit. If you send Ethereum on the Ethereum network, it's not that expensive. When you send an ERC20, everything seems to be really expensive. And so if I don't think I'm going to sacrifice on PulseX. Maybe I'll send like one Litecoin or so, but I am not going to send anything on the ERC20 network, the Ethereum network, unless I absolutely positively have to do it, because I've been working on other chains, and when it is fast and it's inexpensive, I'm very disappointed still in Ethereum, just because of the fees that they promised would go down with this latest release, and then now we need to wait for Ethereum 2.0. But if you are going to participate in the sacrifice, you may want to think about sending something that's fairly inexpensive to send, like Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash, or something that is not going to cost you $20 when you're trying to send out pizza money, because that's a huge hit on something where, if you're going to send $200, I don't spend $200 on pizza, not unless I'm having a huge party. But if that's 10% just in the network fee, it's kind of a waste of part of the sacrifice. So think about that. If you're going to participate in the sacrifice, is it worth sending an ERC20, or is it worth sending something that the network fees are virtually nothing?
Yeah, let's make it very, very clear that there is absolutely no need to do this. If you're here and you participated in the original sacrifice for Pulse Chain, then and even if you just went through the education expecting the airdrop of the ERC20 tokens, then there really is no need to do this. The thing that I'm actually contemplating is I probably wouldn't mind a few PulseX tokens, so that I can potentially get rewarded. But we'll go through that. And the thing that kind of surprised me initially is, if you look at let's go back to the thing here. Look at the total supply. I mean, it's getting up to the territory of SHIB, right? I mean, I think that's 100 billion. I mean, basically
I,
112 zeros.
yeah, that's just a fraction of our national debt, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, what would be interesting is let me just have a quick look to see what the supply is of Uniswap, because this is what it's based on, Uniswap, and
And for anybody really technical, there's Uniswap 1, version 2. Version 2 is open source. Version 3, which Uniswap is their latest release, is not open source yet. They're going to be delaying that for 2 years. But PulseX is on Uniswap v2, just FYI.
yeah, and we've got a circulating supply there of 452 million and a total supply of 1,000 million, I guess a billion to us Brits.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't. So look, we don't know about the value, but look at this. It's $19 for Uniswap. I think Jay's had us in and out of this in the past. So if we look at the price chart of Uniswap, then Uniswap came out like $2-3 there. I think some people were actually airdropped that, and that actually did rise to its peak of $42. So some good growth. So PulseX does have a potential to be valued, and I think the way they're doing it is that anyone using PulseX does actually. I think some PulseX gets burned. So like the total supply will come down, but anyway, it was just something I may sacrifice pizza money just to have a few PulseX, so that if we do have all these PRC20s in our wallets, then we can maybe use PulseX to swap out, depending on a lot of different things. The sacrifice phase, would it be interesting to? I mean, we are going through a very similar thing to what we did last time. The sacrifice phase, what I've read, George, is that between now and the 9th of January, this is the first phase of the sacrifice to get this token. This is a token PRC20 on the Pulse Chain platform. So I think the ticker would be PLSX. And to get this is a very similar thing, a concept. We know that Richard couldn't use the term in investment or anything. So the way he's getting around some of these rules that are in place is he's talking about a sacrifice phase. You make a political statement by sacrificing some value, and you have no expectation of any kind of reward or return based on it, but it's almost like a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You sacrifice some value, and potentially you'll get some of this PLSX back. And so the actual phase is better to sacrifice up until the 9th of January, and then there's a game theory thing going on, like a bonding curve. I think they talk about it. So basically, starting on the 10th of January, what you will get in return, this PLSX, is going to then decrease by about 5% per day. And for every $1 that you sacrifice, that turns into 10,000 PLX. So
Interesting.
yeah.
And if you go to pulsex.com, that kind of shows you the ticker. It also shows you the number right now, I guess, whatever the number of coins. And the majority of coins right now that are being sacrificed are Hex, Ethereum, USDC, Tether, Wrapped Bitcoin. It's interesting that just a lot of stablecoin that they're sending over, and quite a bit of Shiba, $857,000 worth of Shiba Inu.
Yeah. So again, it's really confusing, George, because you've got multiple addresses. Again, like go to the source and find out for yourself. But you've got pulsex.info, pulsex.com, pulsex.io. So it's again one of these decentralized projects where different people setting up different different domain names, and I think it's still in debate whether he actually will officially call it PulseX. There was some talk about calling it Pulse Swap, like Uniswap. But anyway, here's the sacrifice address, and I've had a look at the sacrifice address, and it looks like there's $253 million worth of value that has been sacrificed to this address, with about I think I worked that out as roughly 65%ish. 65% of it is the hex, which is the hex community there. So that's pretty reasonable for you know, basically people throwing the money out the window.
Well, I wonder how much he has Richard has sacrificed of hex. I'm guessing he would probably do it in hex if he's going to do it. But you know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing we have to be mindful of, is the fact that it could be just Richard moving a bunch of hex to this address, and you know, at no point. And this was the thing with Pulse Chain, which we went through in the modules, the educational modules, which is a really, for me, it was really interesting anyway to learn about, you know, and teach about the decentralized nature of DEXs, decentralized exchanges, and decentralized platforms like Binance Smart Chain. But we do know that he never said what the sacrifice pot was going to be used for, and it was asked multiple times. There was a little bit of confusion at the start, certainly by me as well, about is that money going to the Sens organization, or you had to do a manual sacrifice to get that to Sens, and we never did actually get to the bottom of what that this sacrifice wallet was going to be used for.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I've got people on here. Did people want to run through what it means to sacrifice? Is anyone here in our session thinking of sacrificing? I was just going to throw that out. I'm just going to get.
And I'm just reading through the some of the questions too.
Yeah, Daniel's saying that he missed the first sacrifice. Yeah, just as you're reading through there, let me just pull up what I was looking at here, which is the official, according to Richard Hart, the official DApp, the decentralized app page to sacrifice is pulsex.info. Pulsex.info. Remember, there's no need to do this. It's just for those that are interested in the this particular Uniswap type service. Now it's almost the same as last time, where you can sacrifice Ethereum, and if you sacrifice Ethereum, then you can send that directly from your wallet to the official sacrifice phase, sacrifice address, and that's what I was pulling up in when I was looking at this. This is just the sacrifice phase, the sacrifice of Ethereum and tokens on Ethereum. This doesn't include the other coins that are being sacrificed. If I can recall, though, a majority of the sacrifice was hex and Ethereum value compared to you know, the Bitcoin and Litecoin and others. If you're going to sacrifice on another network like Binance Chain, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, some of these others, XLM, then you have to use this DApp to get an Ethereum address from your Metamask. You need to connect this Metamask. In fact, I'm tempted to do this now, George.
Yeah, and you know, just to let you know, you can connect your MetaMask, or you can just throw you can copy and paste your Ethereum wallet address right in there, and it will kind of do the same thing. I think they had connect the MetaMask so that people don't get confused on what address is actually theirs. But I threw one of my Ethereum wallet addresses in that little space and hit next, and I was going to see if what would come up if I wanted to send Litecoin, and it gives you an individual Litecoin address that you would send it to. So basically on their back end, they would say, okay, if there is funds that came into this Litecoin address, then this is what it would, where we would credit on the Ethereum network, which is really basically the PulseX network.
Well, let's do this live, shall we?
Yeah.
There's some people in the group saying that they would like to know how to sacrifice. Remember, I'll be doing this with just pizza money. This is pulse.info. Here's the wallet. Very, very, very important. In fact, I'm pretty sure that in our module, we successfully managed to navigate so that almost all the group did actually do it correctly. Remember that if we're sacrificing to this Ethereum address, then that has to go from an Ethereum asset. I mean, they are saying here Binance Smart Chain, that's the BSC. I would just, I mean, to be fair, I think it's just sticking with Ethereum.
Yeah, I think because all of those right up there, Ethereum, Binance, Polygon, Avalanche, Ethereum Classic, they're one address across the entire, they're all kind of Ethereum based addresses. So they're just going to end up in that particular chain in their wallet address, and Richard's team on the back end will be able to then, equate it back to whoever, on their Pulse chain network with the address that you selected.
Yeah,
even though it's on different chains. It gets really confusing when it's cross-chain like that, or the different chains. As long as you own the address, then you'll be credited. We hope, but there's no promises.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, then if sacrificing, say, ETH, then you send that ETH to this one wallet, and this one wallet will be the same for all of us. And then Richard is clearly able to run a dApp or use the blockchain to then backtrack on everyone that's donated or sacrificed, so that then he can make the credit of the PLSX to the correct, the people that have sacrificed. When it comes to other chains, like so Litecoin, then you have to connect your MetaMask or paste your Ethereum wallet here, because then you will get an address, and that address will then use the dApp to connect to where you will receive the PLSX. So I'm going to do that now, actually, George. So it's just simply connecting MetaMask.
Yeah.
See
and
if that works.
And just remember, everybody, don't have your broker or Coinbase or any exchange send your coins for you. You need to take possession in your wallet, because if you send it from Binance, from Caleb and Brown, they are the ones that will be getting those coins on the Pulse chain network, and you'll never get them. So you have to have the wallet in your control that you send from. Otherwise, you're not going to get credit for it.
Yeah, and this is just a throwaway account. Yeah, like he said, like you just said, never ever a sacrifice from an exchange. I think why we have to use MetaMask is it's a very easy and quick way to determine that we are in control of the wallet, and therefore, because we're in control of the wallet, they will be able to reward us with that. So I've just hit connect, and that's pretty easy. That's now connected. Hit next. And so here it's giving me the option of which network would I like to sacrifice, remembering that the Ethereum is on that one wallet. But if I choose something like, say, Litecoin, I think you mentioned sacrificing one Litecoin,
Yeah, right
George.
over
Yeah,
to the right.
so
Yeah, and there's even Tron, there's Stellar. So there's some, coins that you can send from. So it would be kind of, if you don't have to send Ethereum, you can send, something that you may have extra or you don't like anymore.
so this is going to create an address, and I believe what the DApp is doing here is it will use this address, and it will then be able to monitor this address and then send the value of what has been sacrificed back and credit the Ethereum Metamask that we've used to use this DApp.
Correct.
So there we go. I have created a Litecoin address, and then I would simply go over and sacrifice to that address. Now, if anyone is following us with this and they haven't gone through the Pulse chain, goodness, do not do this, right? Without understanding Pulse chain, without having gone through the module or at least done your own research. If you're coming to this cold and you're starting to follow us, I would highly recommend people at least educate themselves rather than just coming in at this late stage trying to get some PulseX. Okay, so then I would send the Litecoin, and then I guess I've sent them, and
Yeah, and then I
that's
think
it.
what it does is it's something on the back end bonds your Ethereum address to that particular Litecoin address, and when you send it and they receive it, then you're good to go.
I'm doing
This one
Stellar.
seems a little bit easier um, than I think they've improved it a little bit from what I remember last time on the sacrifice.
Yeah, last time when you were say sacrificing, they would give you all of the different addresses listed, and then you would pick the network you wanted to sacrifice to. But here they're giving you just one option at a time. I think if I press them multiple times, I believe it's creating the same address.
It
Yeah.
could be until you say I sent them, and so it's
Ah,
cooking
okay.
you. And so they probably are looking at it and saying, oh, it's a mess on the back end having to, tag them all together. But, the blockchains that they're looking at, you can have different addresses or, who knows what they're doing on the back end. It's hard to say.
Right. Well, if you are going to do this, then to get the most maximum benefit, it's do it before do it by the 9th of January. On the 10th of January, the bonding curve starts and it degrades the amount of PulseX you will get 5% per day until the end of the sacrifice phase, which is sometime in February. I believe 25th of February is potentially the end of this sacrifice phase. When we say sacrifice, I mean, we just learned, didn't we, George, that it's basically ICO. It's a way of showing that you're interested in getting free coins and that you're prepared to make that political statement. If I recall, when we were doing all this, we were told we were making a political statement, and then didn't they change that wording when we did start sacrificing?
I I
I recall.
I think you're right because I remember it. They were saying it was a political statement and then that was kind of dropped. The other thing just to throw out there is that um, when I've been a part of different ICOs and things like this, one that we all participated in way back in the day was HBAR. And I think we got our HBAR for about 12 cents when the coins were first initially released. We went through, I can't remember if it was Caleb Brown, that somehow we got coins, Jay got coins for us that were just pushed out. We thought it was going to jump. It actually, I think it went down to like 3 cents. So just know, sometimes it takes off and it keeps going. Sometimes it will initially pump and then it'll drop. And for me, when I looked at the original Pulse chain, it was looking at it and not necessarily sacrificing I did a little sacrifice, I believe, that it was going to look at it as an investment long term, where when it came out, potentially it could drop. If it drops, then I'll pick it up then, instead of getting it the day that it's out the door. So there are a lot of different ways to look at things. I think I've gotten burned literally on many coins. Pillar, HBAR, it's not that I've gotten burned, but that the initial price was great, but it did drop below that initial price, and I could have gotten more coins for the same amount of money. And it's rare that I've purchased a coin initially and it just taken off and done much better. So it's kind of live and learn.
George, I've been using Jay's training now. I'm doing quite well on HBAR. Just kind of occasionally getting in and out. So I sold, I think, at the last high, 47 cents I've got here. So
Oh, that's really good.
yeah, what I was trying to do is like, I'm a big fan of trying to get onto a like free roll, some of those more speculative positions, so that when you see it go up and down, you don't have to kind of go through the emotions if it's all house money. Yeah.
And I guess I just have not, I mean, it's my own fault on some of this where I have not been paying attention, and getting out when I should have. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is pay much more attention, since we're getting, long in the tooth on this run.
Is it worth bringing anyone on to see what sort of
Yeah, does
questions
anybody
we may
want
get?
to, anyone want to come and chat with us? Get their voice on here? None so far.
So we're just reading through some of these. Yeah. I should. LH was saying you should trust your feelings. So that reminds me of Star Wars. Trust your feelings, Luke.
The force is with you.
Exactly.
We have one person. Let me see if I can get them. Okay. Ardito, if you, let's see.
Yeah, hey George. Bud,
Hey,
can
how
you
are
hear me?
you? We
Oh,
can.
fantastic. Yeah, good deal. Obviously, speak for probably everybody, but thanks so much. I was part of the Pulse Chain info and sacrifice. So this is really, really appreciate all the help you guys give us.
Oh, good,
Um,
good.
yeah, so one of my questions, not wouldn't expect you to know the answer, but I've been trying to keep up with these lengthy Richard Hart videos as well. Um, chuckle, laugh, laugh, right?
Yeah.
But it appears he's trying to put an ecosystem together. So Hex is his store of value. Pulse Chain is his blockchain, and PulseX is his exchange. Is kind of what I'm getting from his videos.
Yeah.
Um, and knowing that, I'm wondering if we do get some sort of regulation or any type of intervention, I mean, I wonder what your thoughts are on how this system could exist even with that type of intervention. Could it still exist? I mean, what are your thoughts on, if this could still move forward with some sort of interruption from the powers that be? I don't know. Just thought I would ask that.
That's a tough one. And I think part of it is, from listening to some other aspects of not just this project, but others, it seems like that's what people are waiting for right now, is the fear of, is it going to be regulated? What's going to happen? I think there's a whole bunch of infighting in Washington, at least, on who's going to take control of this, who's going to make the laws, the regulations, who's going to get the fines, all of that. And it's hard to say what is going to come out of it, because we don't know. Like, the things seem to be going through, and then everything changes. And part of it is, I don't know if it's just a bunch of fear, a bunch of FUD that is being pushed out. But the one thing that I think, and I have a strong opinion on this because I've been in tech for so long, is, personal computers. The US did a great job because we promoted that. The .com, we promoted it. We, did not have taxes on purchases over the internet for, I think it was like 10 years. Now we do. But it really supported a platform that is the cornerstone of what our economy is, like Amazon and Facebook. But there's so much of the foundation of our tech that we supported, and yet there's so much kind of FUD of, we're afraid of crypto, we don't necessarily want to support it. I think they're fearful that it will take over other parts of the finance side that the banks are currently controlling, and frankly, the government's controlling with fiat currency. So it's hard to say what really is going to come out of this, because it's such a loaded unknown that everybody is kind of fearful, because DeFi and Pulse and all of these different projects are going to take power away from people that have the power right now. Whereas when it was the .com, well, Walmart, they just moved to the .com side of it, and all these others, that it was an easy way to move over. But it was the Amazons that kind of sprung out. And what percentage of people out there use Amazon? And I think that's what they're afraid of, is that there's an Amazon out there that's going to balloon and take over the power that they currently have. Doesn't answer your question, but it kind of gives you an idea of how I think things are going in that space. Bud, do you care to share?
Yes, absolutely. If I refer to you as P, the aspect that I'm thinking of is it comes down to trust. So what I'm curious about is that they are using this technicality of we're calling it a sacrifice phase to participate in these different airdrops, and I guess they're trying to get work around the possibility of being regulated in the future by referring to it as sacrifice. I mean, there's no precedent for this type of participation in an investment. The powers that be, I mean, if they do all the things that we believe they do, then I'm pretty sure that taking down Pulse Chain, if they wanted to, or PulseX, would be a pretty simple thing for them to do. If they wanted to regulate it away. But we have to trust, and Richard has actually proved himself. I was around when Hex was coming out, and you had the potential to participate in Hex. There was a lot going on back then. A lot of people calling him a scammer, a fraud, all the kind of stuff you normally get, around YouTube videos and that. And actually, ultimately, he did make quite a few millionaires and people rich, and so that's why then now he's doing Pulse Chain and PulseX, that people are flocking to him. So I guess isn't it regulation goes where the money is, and if this does become very, very successful, then there's the potential that we have another Veritasium on our hands. But
Yep.
that's just the risk that we run. I mean, at this stage, for me, if I do pizza money for PulseX, I couldn't care less if that ends up being a wasted pizza. So does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of, George, your example, and Bud, what you're saying is just look at the actions versus the speculation. So I would agree with both of you on that. And anyways, that's why I participated in Pulse Chain. I missed the Hex deal, but yeah, no, I totally appreciate it. By the way, the partido is Spanish for game, so it's a bit of projection. He's got game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was the nickname I got a long time ago. So That's what that is partito. So anyways, thank you. I
Well,
don't really have any other questions, but I do appreciate your work, guys.
okay, thanks. Thanks for joining us. And it's interesting. JT wants to sacrifice his 1982 Honda Civic. So you can you can drive that over to Richard's house and drop it off and see what he can trade with it. I do like that.
It'll be curious to see if we do see this business model in a way being rolled out for anything else. I mean, at the moment, this is now the second time that Richard is using the sacrifice terminology, and going through this kind of thing. And is it fair to say I don't believe we've seen this from anyone else, but I'm sure we'll get some copycats.
Yeah, I haven't seen it from anyone else, and it will be interesting to see if anybody else picks it up. I think they're probably waiting for this to kind of go through and see what the reaction is with everybody. But I think the other thing we have to remember, because it's decentralized, because it is crypto, um, crypto is borderless. I mean, they can stop us from doing certain things, but then we just go around because that's kind of who we are. I mean, when you're an early adopter of crypto, you don't think like everyone else. I don't. And I know a lot of people in the group don't, because we don't follow what we're told to follow, which is a blessing and a curse. But I wouldn't change it, because people didn't believe for a long time. And now it's kind of, big companies, insurance companies, investment houses, are investing in crypto. But we were looked down upon in the early days like, oh, it's a scam. So, it's going to take time for it to mature. And I think people like Richard are forcing that to the table, because they are turning into be great platforms. I mean, looking at DeFi and seeing how that is changing how people invest and earn a return. But have you opened up a bank account lately and seen what the interest rate is on a savings account?
Well, the first thing about opening a bank account is they want to know where's the money from, what, all these questions. There's like a booklet you need to answer. And with DeFi, you just connect. Look, I just did a DApp. There was no question there about can you tell us the source of your funds? It's just connect your wallet, send a sacrifice. And so it does feel like money needs to be free, freedom. It does add to the use of money, and certainly banks have now become more draconian and harder to participate in that system.
Yeah, because they keep clamping down. Yeah, it was funny because I recently opened up an account and I knew the banker, and that's why I went to this bank, and it was much easier than going somewhere new where they literally wanted to know where everything was coming from and why my company was in one state and I was in another, and all of these things. I'm like, because I'm an entrepreneur and I want the best, and so I'm going to make my choices, and we don't have to explain ourselves when we're doing crypto. We do what we want, and we pay our taxes and we file things appropriately, but we don't have people breathing down our necks saying, what are you going to do with that money? Because when you send money via a wire, they ask you what you're sending it out for. And it doesn't matter what I'm sending it out for, but they have to know and they have to check that box.
Can I answer a question that Daniel's asking here? He just said that he missed the first sacrifice, and is this the sacrifice related to the same airdrop? And the answer to that is no, this is not the same airdrop. The sacrifice that we went through, and it's in the educational module on I believe the .NET site, right, George?
Yeah, the .NET.
Yeah. Now that was for PLS, the Pulse chain. That is basically, when you think about that, that's Ethereum, but that would be Pulse chain. And this is for PulseX, which is going to run on Pulse chain as a PRC20. So this is a new sacrifice phase. I don't believe there's any other sacrifices coming along, but who knows? I mean, here we are into our second sacrifice, and we still haven't got the network that's come out Pulse chain. So we'll have to just wait.
I know it's kind of a little crazy.
I do hope that. I mean, I'm George. I'm really hopeful that that we get this before March. You know, before we're all getting out, because like it would be wonderful to get all those PRC20s and then just swap them on this this decentralized exchange and take them off just before we get out. That would be a double whammy.
Yeah, and even if it was just that we could take them, you know, they may not have the same amount of value, but if we can just get them before we do sell out of the other, and I can tuck those away for, you know, a year or so because it's free, and why not? And you know, I've waited a lot longer on other things to kind of pop that still haven't. So, you know, whether it does or it doesn't, if we can get them and hold them, that we can see what the market will value it at.
Yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to show the team here, Binge Team, on my list of things. Actually, I might have to stop sharing my screen just for a second to get this screenshot I took. What I was trying to do was look to see why is Uniswap worth anything, and I did actually take a screenshot somewhere here. Here we go. Yeah, let's open this up and see if I can share this. Okay. You see tokenomics there, yeah. So yeah, Uniswap basically is it has value because it acts as an additional incentive for liquidity providers who earn Uni for providing liquidity, and also it's a governance function. So we did actually end up going into Uniswap, and it was a good trade from Jay with a good exit. And you know, actually, if you look at a lot of the value is because you needed Uni if you wanted to vote on its future, how it would be used, the initiatives to submit proposals. And so I guess if you want to have any say in how PulseX is going to be run as a decentralized exchange, then you would need to actually have its token to participate in the governance of it. So that is very much this decentralized governance model. I suspect that Richard Hart will be the dominant holder of that, so would have the ultimate say. So again, it comes down to trust, how much you trust Richard Hart. But at this stage, if you go on his hex, then you know, you'd put him up there as someone. Although this delay is clearly taking off some of the shine of the airdrop.
Yep, I agree.
Cool.
Well, yeah, I don't have that much. If anybody else has some last minute questions, we're headed toward an hour, which is more than I thought we were going to do. And we can see what happens on the 9th.
Yeah, and just thinking about it, if people are wanting the Pulse chain, I mean, it's still waiting to come out, but when it does come out, I'm sure it's going to be something that can be purchased. And the suspicion is that it should be the value of it should be at least match what people have sacrificed. You know, you wouldn't sacrifice. I mean, the whole idea of the sacrifice is that you sacrifice something of value, so that when the PLS does come out, you're probably not going to sell it for anything less than what the value you sacrificed. So if you take this total sacrifice amount, then and divide that by the circulating supply, then that should kind of give roughly where it should be. But of course, like we know that crypto is built on emotion, and so it can go either way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to share at this stage with the PulseX. I'll put my pizza money in, pepperoni pizza, I think, and
Double
that's
cheese it. Double cheese it. It's always better with more cheese.
right.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks, Bud. This is always fun. We don't do crypto boomers anymore, so maybe we just need to do some more of this for the group, because it always is fun to hang out with you online.
Yeah, same feeling here, George. I still love crypto, and clearly with the advice that we're taking, we're sort of slowly getting ready to move out. But if it does stick around, then like I still have a love for crypto. So I do hope that the event doesn't happen and that we can continue to enjoy, learning about all these new things. I mean, here we are talking about sacrifice. It's almost like speaking another language.
It is. It is. Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody. And we will see you on our Thursday. Wow, that's in 2 days. Thursday live stream. And other than that, have a great day.